How you guys doing today? My name is John with Easy 4x4 and we're going to be talking about how you assemble your two-door rolling cart today. Now this is an awesome device which helps you store and secure your Jeep doors when you want to take them off your Jeep and leave them at home. For the larger items in the box, we'll start with our base layer frame. This frame has a bunch of holes drilled into it and is in the shape of a U. It also has the base layer frame bar attached at the bottom for shipping. We will be relocating this bar in the first step. Next, in the middle, we have our handle frame. This is the same shape as the base layer frame, it's just has less holes drilled into it. And then we also have the black carpet, which will be the bottom layer that your doors sit on once the cart is fully assembled. When it comes to the small parts in our set, we'll have a set of 5 wheels, 2 metal bars which are used to attach the back wheels, 4 storage blocks, 2 storage blocks with a plate and twisting nut attached to it, along with 2 bumpers and 5 plastic nut caps. We'll also have 4 side plates, along with 4 U-bolt screws, 2 long screws, 8 locking pins, and 8 screws. For tools, the set comes with an Allen wrench, and then a wrench with a 10mm and a 13mm opening, but I'd recommend using your own if you have them. You'll need a ruler and a screwdriver. If you have a ratchet, it could be pretty handy, but you don't need one to assemble the cart. Also, don't forget the bag of additional washers. There are also an additional 2 large nuts and 1 small nut in case you lose one while you're assembling the cart. So our very first step will be relocating the base frame bar to the right spot on the base frame. So it's at the bottom for storage, and we're going to be aiming for the second hole from the top on the inside. So for an up close look, on the inside of the bar, we're going to see these 2 holes right here. I just want to make sure we're putting it right here at this lower hole, not this top hole. This lower one right here is what we're aiming for. For this next step, we need the 2 plastic bumpers, 2 long screws, a wrench, and this is when we'll need our additional screwdriver. So for this step, we want to make sure that the base layer frame is facing the right way. We know it's facing the right way because these 3 holes are facing up and the big hole's facing down. Now I'll quickly flip this just to show you what it looks like when it's wrong. So if we see this large hole for the wheel opening, if this is facing up, then it's facing the wrong way. Then, when we put the carpet on, we're going to install the bumpers. But before we do that, I'll just quickly show you the bumper. So, the bumper actually has a recess in it. So that's the part that's going to be facing upwards. The bottom is fully flat and I'll be facing downwards on the tube. So I'm going to put the screw in so that when the screw's in the recess, it's flat. And I'm going to be putting through the middle hole right here. So when I go to put the carpet on, it's going to be hard to see once the carpet goes on. So we're still aiming for this spot right here, and the screw's going to go in just like that. So now when I'm going to install this, I'm lining up the screw with that middle hole. And then this is where I'm going to take the screwdriver, and I'm going to hold the screwdriver against the screw, and then use my wrench to tighten the carpet in place. For this step, you'll want 3 wheels, 3 nut caps, your Allen wrench, and your wrench. So when putting our wheels on, there's going to be 3 spots where we're putting the wheels in. There's going to be the 2 on the sides, and then there's 1 here at the top. So when putting the wheel on the cart, first we're going to take off the nut, and then we'll see that there's a washer that comes with it. This will go on the top of the cart with the nut. And then there's also this rectangular plate. This is going to be attached to the bottom of the cart. So I'm going to pick this up, I'm going to guide the screw in, make sure that that metal plate is now flush with the base layer. There we go. And now you can see the screw popping up, and now everything is properly aligned. So now I'm going to put this washer on the top, get this nut on, secure it into place with my fingers. Once the nut is tight, I'm going to take my plastic nut cap, secure it on just like that. Now we should have a nice rolling base layer. And the next step will be attaching the handle frame to form the outline of our cart. For this step, you'll need your 4 side plates, 2 metal bars, 8 screws, and then for tools, you'll need your wrench, your Allen wrench, the additional washers, and then this is where the ratchet comes in handy. You'll also want 2 wheels for the end of this step as well. I'm gonna walk us through this step and then I'll show you how to do it in the next part. So we've got our side plate. We've got holes all over it. The ones we want to be focusing on are the 3 on the left, the 3 on the right, the top hole, and the bottom hole. We have our base layer frame here, and we've got this back bar right here. Then we're going to have the top and bottom holes of the side plates on the handle frame. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our screws and funneling them through our side plate. And so this is what's going to look like upside down. Then we're going to be taking washers and putting them around the screws before we put it through the frames. And then once they come out on the other side, we're going to be taking another set of washers, putting them around the screws. And after we do that, we'll be putting the last side plate on the whole thing. And then we'll take our nuts and secure it all together. I'm going to secure this, use the Allen wrench to keep the screw in place, and then you can use a wrench to then tighten all of the nuts. And then we want to make sure that we keep the middle 2 tight, but then the edge 2 pieces firm, because we don't want it to be so tight that the metal pieces can't move, because this is the part that's going to be bending. And if you have a ratchet, this will be the best time to use one, because it'll save you a lot of time. So once we've tightened everything here, and we've attached everything to the back side, we're going to take our last 2 wheels and attach them to the back bars. So now that we've got all the frames attached, the wheels are on, we just have to now put in the pins to keep this cart straight and steady. For this step, you'll want your 8 locking pins, and no tools are needed. So for this step, we want to make sure that our frames and our side plate holes are aligned so that when we go to put the pins in, they go through nice and smoothly. Then we want to make sure that this extra clip comes in through the bottom and attaches on the other side like this. This cart is also designed where you actually only need 1 pin in for each side for this to be fully secured. Even if I throw all my body weight on this cart, nothing's moving anywhere. So if you only have 1 pin in, you're going to keep your doors perfectly safe. Now I've got our cart fully assembled. The last and final step is adding the storage blocks onto the handle, because these are what are going to keep your doors secured nice and firmly to your cart. For this step, you'll need your 4 storage blocks, your 2 storage blocks that have plates and screws already attached, your 4 U-shaped bolts, and then for tools, you'll need your wrench, your Allen wrench, a ruler, and then the hatchet can be pretty handy here too. The first part of the storage blocks we're going to install is the bottom block itself. So when we take these pieces, we'll notice how it's smooth and flush on one side, and on the bottom we've got a few circles and we've got a few little plastic pieces. We want to make sure that these are facing down and that the smooth side is facing up. We're also going to be installing them on the inside of the cart like so, and our U-bolt is going to be going through here, and then we're going to be using the nuts to basically lock these in place. Once we get the storage block on, I want to make sure that it's loose enough where I can slide it up and down with my fingers, but then if I'm not touching it, it stays in place. This is when we're going to want to take our ruler and make sure that the storage block is 6 inches from the base frame. This is the most optimal starting spot for all Jeep doors. We're going to do the same thing for the top storage block, but we're actually going to make sure that it's 12 inches from the top of our bottom storage block. When we go to install the middle storage block, it's going to be similar but slightly different. The U-bolt's going to come from the inside out. And then we're going to take the metal plate and put it back on. Then we'll take the nut and secure it on one side. And then we'll take the twisting nut, which helps secure the storage block into place. But the reason why we have this twisting nut on here is so that we can then loosen it and slide this up and down, because this part will be moving up and down for the storage process. We just want to make sure that when we put it on for the first time, we leave a few inches of space between the bottom one and the middle one, because the Jeep door hinge is going to come in between these two, and this will lock down and keep it in place. So this is what it looks like head on. You want to make sure that this nut is tight enough where it's holding it together, but when I loosen only the twisting nut, it still slides up and down easily and then stays back in place when I tighten only the twisting nut. Now that we got the hinges on, it's time to go get our doors and secure them to the cart so we can get rolling on our way. So we've got our Jeep doors. We're about to put them on this cart, but before we do that, I just want to point out the bumpers from our very first step installing the carpet. We want to make sure that when we're putting the doors on the cart, that the doors are going on the inside of the bumpers. All right, I'm going to show you guys 2 different ways to get the door onto the cart securely. The first step for both ways is we just need to get the door onto the cart. Okay, so the standing up method is I'm going to take my back hand, so this is my left hand in this case, hold the Jeep door handle. I'm going to take my front hand underneath the mirror. I'm going to take the weight of the door, lean it on my leg, so that way the weight is supported by my leg and I can use my arms to guide it in. Also, don't let go of the door if it's not fully in. So we keep the top and bottom storage blocks a little bit loose, just so that way when we get the Jeep door on for the first time, we can then adjust the block into place so that it sits nicely in the door. And then I'll take my wrench and I'll tighten it on the other side. The second way of getting the door in is from a kneeling position. I'm going to take my back hand, hold the Jeep handle, my front hand is going to go right underneath the door. We designed the cart so that there's space between the right corner of the door in the corner of the cart so I can get my hand in here, pick it up with my back hand, and then use my right hand at the bottom to guide in the Jeep door to make it nice and easy. Once we've got the Jeep doors on, this is when we're gonna loosen the twisting nut of our middle storage block. I'm gonna drop this down so that it sandwiches the pin on the Jeep door between our storage blocks, and then tighten it. And this will make sure that the Jeep door stays in place as the cart is moving. Now our cart goes back and forth nice and smoothly. Our doors are firmly in place. If you want to check out more of our stuff, find us at easytrunk.com. If you want to see more of our products, make sure to subscribe on our YouTube page so you can be up to date with new stuff coming out and be on top of stuff for when we can make things to make your life Jeeping so much easier. But as always, guys, keep it easy. I'll quickly show you how to fold this cart away. I'll take out the locking pins. Gonna fold up the carpet section, put the wheels up, put in that bottom hole from the side plate, that one we never used, and then make sure that the wraparound goes on the outside. Now the cart is secured in place and can be easily stored in your home, garage, or even your Jeep as well.